Hey up guys, it's the Yorkshire Pudding. Like many of you, I've played RuneScape since I was back in school, but little did I know at the time it would prepare me for the rest of my life. It's 2008. You come home from school after a long day and load up RuneScape on the family computer. You take a stroll through Varrock, as that's where all the cool kids hang out, when suddenly a girl in white flares, a bow to hat and some flowers in her right hand approaches you. She gets straight to the point and asks if you want to be her boyfriend. It's like being down the red light district in Amsterdam. All the girls are suddenly into you as you walk through the Varrock strip. Now this arrangement is pretty simple. You compliment each other in game and the guy showers the girl in loads of gifts like dragon daggers or dragon longs if you're gifted. Yeah, it's about as bad as it sounds. Some guys were proactive however, advertising the willingness to buy a girlfriend instead of merely waiting for one to approach. It got so bad that when the quick chat feature arrived in RuneScape, there was literally an option to say, "This is not a dating site." Anyway, so what is the lesson in all this? The lesson is that these girls you'd meet in game and give loads of free stuff to? Well, that girl is actually 45-year-old Greg from Manchester. That's right, the lesson here is girl actually means guy in real life. Us RuneScape players have never been catfished by the hot single women in your local area, or by the young blonde Samantha who slid into your DMs, because we're all very aware that Samantha is actually Samuel. Now I've been to Thailand, but RuneScape had prepared me. I didn't even have to check. One of the ladies said to me if I spent the night with her, she'd give me a free Apple Watch. But using my experience from RuneScape, I could tell straight away it was a guy. The second lesson RuneScape has taught us is how to avoid scams. They say the best teacher is experience. And boy, we've got a lot of experience getting scammed back in the day. The first time I ever got scammed, or lured you may call it, was when the so-called friend brought me into the wilderness. Now he was my friend, so obviously he wasn't going to attack me, right? Until he pulled out his adamant mace. I got slapped back to Lumbridge quicker than a noob meeting the Dark Wizards for the first time. To this day, the adamant mace still gives me the shivers. Look at its menacing look, the spikes and greenness and all. From doubling money to wilderness lures to trade window scams and trust trades, we've seen them all as a RuneScape player. You grow a sense of distrust when people approach you randomly in real life giving you an offer that's just too good to be true. A bloke came up to me in Paris whilst I was looking at the Eiffel Tower saying he's selling a brand new, real Apple Watch for only €50. The chances are a random bloke stood in the middle of the street will not be selling a real Apple Watch for less than 50 quid. So I ignored him. Besides, I already got one from Thailand. Scamming is almost part of the culture in RuneScape, as sad as it is to say. There's just so many lurers and people willing to do you over and take your money. RuneScape money is quite hard to come by, and in some areas of the world it's worth more than the currency of the player's own country, making farming this gold instead of the own a viable job. That being said, being scammed as a kid in RuneScape has prepared you for the real world, whether you know it or not. The next life skill is valuing delayed gratification. Things don't come easy in RuneScape, and many of the grinds are hours, if not tens of hours, if not days or weeks or months or even years away. After 100 hours of clicking on the same rock or tree, you soon develop the patience of the Buddha himself. Although there's many fun activities to do, much of the content is a bit less stimulating. Despite this, you train that skill for a long period because you know that in the end you'll be where you want to be and finally achieve your goal. Why go outside with your friends and have short-term fun, or go out drinking for the dopamine rush, or go on that date to the nice restaurant where your girlfriend's been wanting to go over the past 2 years, or see your grandma who's in hospital, when you can stay at home and grind mining levels on RuneScape and do something that really matters. Jokes aside, delayed gratification is genuinely a pretty solid life skill. Delay short-term pleasure to seek a greater long-term reward. This is the whole principle behind spending all that time studying for exams, saying no to your friends when they want to go out, reading all the books despite how repetitive it is for the time being, then finally sitting your exams, smashing it by getting the grade you wanted, if not better, then getting a minimum wage job anyway because everyone has a degree now, and being in student debt for the rest of your life. Okay, it sounds a bit less appealing when you put it like that, but the point still stands about delayed gratification along with a little patience being a great life lesson we can take from RuneScape. The fourth lesson from RuneScape, goal setting. RuneScape doesn't hold your hand. It throws you into Lumbridge with a bronze dagger and some shrimp and says, figure it out. You have so much freedom, and without the game telling you exactly what you need to do or achieve, you start coming up with your own goals of your own. You may think, 20 attacker can wear that dark blue armour I've seen people wearing. Mithril, of course. I'm not that high of a level yet and I don't have a clue where to find it. but as you journey through the Great Wall of Al-Kharid, you see a sword salesman who stocks mithril scimitars. You still need 8 more attack levels, and now you need to gather enough money to be able to afford it, so that's your first goal. After hours of playing, you manage to get yourself that mithril scimitar, and you're stronger than ever. Now you decide to do a load of free-to-play quests. Wait a minute, I could try and complete all of these. This is what you decide to do, but get stuck on Dragon Slayer. This is your next goal. This continues, well, forever really. We always have goals that we're setting ourselves. Complete all the easy achievement diaries, do Desert Treasure for Ancient Magics, get base level 70 stats, get a Fire Cape. Even max players may set a task of getting the Infernal Cape or doing all the collection log slots, or most of them anyway. This mindset can be translated to real life, setting yourself a bunch of short-term, medium and long-term goals, using the short-term goals to achieve the medium and the medium-term goals to finally achieve the long-term goals. I discussed this more in my video, 9 things to do when bored in RuneScape. Link is in the description below. Number 5 is having an understanding of money. RuneScape has an economy, and you soon learn the concept of supply and demand, item prices rising and falling, inflation, price manipulation, the idea of updates or in terms of real life, laws and policies influencing the cost of goods. For many players, the Grand Exchange was the first stock market. Why take an advanced class on economics when you can log into Zezima 6969 PK, head to the GE and get some first-hand experience yourself. There's also a sense of scarcity in RuneScape with regards to resources and items. Getting your first Abyssal Whip may have taken you years back in the day. This means you had to be careful not to waste too much money on the little things, or else you wouldn't be able to afford the best weapon in the game at the time. It also teaches you that sometimes patience pays off, and doing a slower, more profitable training method is better than a faster, more costly training method. In contrast, sometimes it's actually better to spend more money on getting your skills up fast so that you can use the time saved to earn even more money than you would have. Let's say there's a training method that gives you 30k XP per hour and makes you 200k gold per hour. In 10 hours you'll have earned 2 million coins and 300k XP. Now let's say that there's another method that earns you 100k XP per hour but costs you 300k coins per hour. In only 3 hours you've gained the same amount of XP as you would have by doing the other method in 10 hours. However, instead of gaining 2 million GP, you've now lost 900k overall. You're 2.9 million coins worse off. But you have saved yourself 7 hours of time. Now if you use this time to do a more profitable training method of your choice, as long as that training method is at least 414k GP per hour, you've broke even. If you use a method that exists that earns you more than this per hour, such as many Slayer tasks or bossing, then you're actually in profit. There's also the added benefit that whilst grinding for 7 hours, you'll most likely be training another skill and leveling up that too. So the end result is you've made more money and trained an additional skill by initially choosing the faster, more costly option of training your original skill. And the final lesson is accepting that failure is inevitable. Sometimes in life you just have to lose. You may not have got your Fire Cape on the first try, but you try again and again, learning from your mistakes each time and eventually taking down Jad and receiving what for many years was the best cape in the game. In your real life there'll be times where you're too scared to do something because you don't want to fail, and that's fine. You can join the group of people who have never failed a thing because they've never tried in the first place. The people who fail the most are usually the ones who's been there deep in the trenches and got the boots dirty, and they've got the medals to prove it. You'll be surprised how much content you can actually do if you just try it for the first time. When you inevitably die, just try again and again, and eventually you'll never understand why you were worried at all. All of us have died to a new boss or in a raid before. Well, except for Wooks. He is the final boss of RuneScape after all. So these are some of the life lessons that RuneScape has taught many of us over the years. And if you want to see someone who has not yet learned not to trust strangers in RuneScape, click on the video on the screen now. And until next time, I'll see you later.